Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy 007 here on Sunday. Well, actually, almost Monday now. To do a market outlook to see how the market is looking this week for March 8th. So we took a look at the market last weekend and we thought that the SPY was gonna bounce around that 378 area as it was holding it really well. But that turned out to be a huge fake out. It bounced here and here, but we broke under it, so we're kind of looking for the next level to be around 368. It's been kind of scary because we have we got in the news that the stimulus bill got passed. Everybody knew that was coming, and it just passed the Senate as well, so that's going to get passed and that's gonna go to the House next. So chances are it's most likely gonna get passed, but there's just so much uncertainty in the market. There's so many people calling out market crash. There's so many bears coming out of the woodwork. So for this week, we're probably just gonna wait to see how things play out, because now we're seeing mixed signals in the market, whereas before we had no mixed signals. Things were getting very clear. But the last week or so, we've been seeing a lot of mixed signals, or even the last month or so, I guess. Especially with the dollar index has been super shady, So over here, we see the dollar index, the background going green, and it's breaking out of that downward trend, where last week we thought it was gonna die, head and shoulder here, and we thought it was just gonna collapse, right? But instead, it said, no, we're gonna break out. So the dollar index is breaking out, crude is breaking out, the whole energy sector is breaking out, and this is something that's super odd. This almost never happened before, because typically a higher dollar means, it's bad for oil, because when they trade the oil back and forth, some countries are not gonna get favorable rates. So, and usually higher oil costs or price per barrel is good for the market, because higher oil cost means that higher oil price usually means that that the market is recovering, economic activity is going well, and all that. So that's what the oil price usually dictates. It means that economic activity is doing really good, manufacturing and all that stuff, everything is going well, right? So usually when you see oil price go up, the stock market usually goes up at the same time. But you usually don't see oil going up, stock market going down, and dollar index going up. That's like a very mixed signal. So that's why we're probably going to sit on our hands this week. Same thing with Qs. Last week we said that above 308 it would be bearish. It would be bullish. But we didn't really get over that. We went under. And it looks like the sector is still correcting, because people are feeling now that so overvalue. People are moving money into the energy sector and the travel sector because they wanted to get back to the pre-COVID levels in anticipation of the vaccine and everything coming back to normal. But I feel like that's a trap in itself, because it's still gonna take time. Things aren't gonna happen as fast, but the stock market tends to be forward-looking a little bit. And then over here, instead of the typical financial sector, we moved this to the XLE sector, which is the energy sector. So the XLE sector in February of 2020 was trading around this $55-$60 level. So I think we're gonna come back to this level here. We're probably gonna see a nice little gap up when market opens in the morning. I think we're gonna come to this level here, and we could probably reject and possibly come back down a little bit more, because it's been hot, man. It's been very, very hot. Look how many days it's run. Over 10 plus days of greenness. Just kept running. So I think we might see some pullbacks here soon as well. Kind of like some of the other sectors, like travel sectors, already seeing a pullback. And then lastly, we got the oil. Not the oil, the dollar index here. So last week we thought dollar index was going to make a stand, because we knew that they weren't going to increase the interest rates federally, and we know that they're going to pass the stimulus bill, which means more dollar bills are going to get printed. More dollar bill getting printed means that our dollar is going to trade weaker compared to other countries' currencies. But it moved up instead, so kind of confusing there. So we'll see how that goes. This week is going to be a very, very interesting week. Mostly going to sit on the hands and just and see where things lead us. So let me find the other chart that I thought was really interesting. So this is the dollar index in oil. Usually when dollar index is up, oil is usually down, right? Even over here. So check this out. Over here, when oil was all-time high, dollar was going down. When the dollar index over here moved up, oil moved all the way down, vice versa. So then we'll also compare the oil to the stock market as well. This is the S&P 500 futures, and this is oils, right? So typically, over here, as the market move up, oil starts moving up as well. Or as oil move up, markets start moving up. They're very well correlated. They're adversely correlated because oil price being higher means more economic activity, which means the stock market is supposed to go up with that. So I'm not sure why it's why oil is going super green, whereas the stock market is not going green at all. We're seeing downtrend here. So this is kind of odd. So if this becomes the leading indicator, that means the market should start recovering. Market should start seeing some recovery in the coming days, especially with the stimulus bill passed and whatnot. But it's really tough to make a trade right now, so I would say just sit back on our hands and see where things go. Because at the same time, I would have loved to see the futures come back to the lower area around here before it bounce. If we bounce around here, that means we're bouncing at a great support level, and that's a sure buy area. As far as a trade for this week, I looked at one of the ERs that came out recently, and this stock is looking very interesting. Smith and Western, they're kind of like a consumer brand for guns and weapons, and I think this is going to be a very interesting trade around this price point over here. If you can get an entry around this 1450 area, I think that's a huge buy the dip opportunity, because this company, they have been able to just beat the earnings reports quarter after quarter ever since COVID, and they're trading about 2 times the price of 2020, but it's worth it because this company has crushed the earnings every quarter over hundreds of percent compared to last year in gains, because people have bought guns nonstop and they just been going out of stock every week, bullets, guns, whatever, and this company is posed to do really well. I don't really see them having a decline in sales yet. So, and plus they just did a big buyback as well. They authorized a big stock buyback for the company, so it should be able to keep the company price floating above this range. So probably buy the dip around the 1450 area and sell around 16 to 17 as a good area, because it's a bounced here before. We see some bounce over here at this level and then bounce back up. Same thing over here, bounce here at this level and move back up. So I think that's going to be some very interesting buying opportunities for value here. But everything else, I would be really, really careful and just kind of send it back. The other thing I like about this company is they pay dividend as well, even if it's a few pennies. It's worth it, just for you to hold it for long if you have to. But as far as that, not much else, man. Let me see if I can pull up the chart on a bigger time frame. Looking at the general market, everything is the RSI, all the other indicators are showing that we're very bottom out. So ideally the market should bounce because all the RSIs and stuff are extremely low, and typically they reset it and bounce it up. Even the Nasdaq, very, very low. It should be bouncing, but it's not. Not yet, we're not sure yet. So we'll see how that goes. This is almost setting up almost like a double bottom here on the RSI, which is kind of like here, which means we could come back and bounce up a little bit. But with that, I'm gonna end it here. If you guys have any thoughts, please let me know. If you have any questions and stuff like that, let us know what you think, what's gonna happen with the market, and where you see opportunity. Thanks, and have a great day.